Hey, what's going on everyone, Vasco here and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we are going to talk about the difference between the tire behavior in street circuits versus purpose-built tracks. During the Monaco Grand Prix weekend, one of the things that you may have noticed is that Mercedes was having trouble heating their tires up. But if you compare this with the rest of the season, Mercedes is usually one of the best cars on their tires. It's what's been giving them their biggest advantage during the latter stages of the turbo hybrid era. But then we get to Monaco 2021 and you see Mercedes struggle. So Valtteri Bottas can only put it P3, Lewis Hamilton, the tire whisperer, can only put him P7. And why did this happen? One of the reasons was the track temperature. So from Thursday to Saturday, the track temperature actually dropped down a massive 20 degrees. So it was in the 50s and then it went into the 30s. That's a big difference in track temperature. And of course, the cars are set up with a certain track temperature in mind. And that wasn't the track temperature that Mercedes had in mind clearly with Lewis Hamilton's setup. So Valtteri Bottas actually performed better because he was able to get the tires in a proper operating window. And the other reason, and that's the one we are going to focus on for this video, is the asphalt quality. So you may have noticed that for the Spanish Grand Prix, Pirelli brought the C1 hard, C2 medium and C3 soft. So these are the three hardest tires in their selection. And all the drivers were having overheating issues. So they brought the hardest tires and they were having overheating issues. But when it comes to Monaco, they brought the hard C3, which was the soft in Spain, the medium C4 and the soft C5, which are the softest tires in the Pirelli range. So why were drivers, and especially Mercedes drivers, struggling with underheating issues? So they weren't able to put heat in the tires. And this was very important because if you may notice, when a car like the Mercedes wasn't able to put heat in their tires during the pit stop phase, Lewis Hamilton was stuck behind Pierre Gasly and he tried to undercut him, so the outlap was critical. But Lewis Hamilton on new hard tires that had just came off the blanket wasn't able to beat Pierre Gasly on a set of worn soft tires that had done the qualifying and the first stage of the race. But most of this has to do with the actual asphalt of the track. So when we think about street circuits versus purpose-built tracks where Mercedes is better, we have to take a few key factors into consideration. So firstly, purpose-built tracks are just that, they are purpose-built. All they have to think about is cars, and usually when a Formula 1 event is assigned to a track, they only think about the Formula 1 cars and maybe the MotoGP bikes. They don't take into consideration maybe the road cars or the GTs. When they have a chance to put a Formula 1 car there, they design the whole track and the asphalt around the Formula 1 car. And since they are designing a track around the Formula 1 car, they have to adhere to specific rules from the FIA. So these rules include the asphalt softness, the amount of layers, and the grip that's provided by each square meter of asphalt. So these are a few of the key guidelines that the FIA provide when a track is being built. So they have to incorporate that specification into the asphalt in order to be awarded with the grade 1 certification required for Formula 1. And this is why many tracks can't hold a Formula 1 race because of their asphalt. They would have to be completely resurfaced. Now compare that to street circuits where they aren't thinking about the Formula 1 race. So sure, Monaco has a Formula 1 race for one day out of the year, but during the other 364 days of the year, it's road, it's cars like yours and mine, or in the case of Monaco, more likely a Lamborghini, but they have to think about the everyday car. And one of the things that makes asphalt in the track so grippy is that it's very rough on the tire surface. So since it creates a lot of friction, and especially lateral friction, which is what makes them being able to heat up the tires so well, they kind of destroy the tires. So if you see a Formula 1 tire is done after a few laps, whilst your road car tire with a very good tire management can make about 100,000 kilometers. And so this is the main difference. When they build the Monaco Grand Prix track or the Azerbaijan Grand Prix or the Singapore Grand Prix, they are actually thinking about the road cars and then trying to make a few mods in order for Formula 1 to be able to go there. They're not thinking about Formula 1 when they resurface the streets. They're thinking about you and me or the bus or the motorcycles that are on the street. And the last thing you want on a street is to go into a part of the city where your tires are absolutely destroyed because once a year there's a Formula 1 race there. I think that would make a lot of Lamborghinis unhappy. And also another factor that you have to take into consideration is that when tracks are built purposely, they can have cambered corners. So cambered corners are corners where the track has a slight tilt in order to facilitate the driver going faster on the corner, and this increases cornering speeds, and with increased cornering speeds it comes better tire performance and better tire heating up. So street circuits usually have nothing of that, because when you're going around the streets it's usually flat or with an incline, but not a lateral incline, so you don't go around the corner, maybe with the exception of highway exits that are usually cambered. But in the middle of the street there's usually no cambered surfaces, so if the corner surface is flat they carry less speed, which then decreases the tire heat up. And since the Mercedes is the longest wheelbase car in the grid, when it's trying to navigate the narrow street circuits of Monaco, it's usually one of the worst cars in slow speed corners. And when we see shorter cars like the Ferrari, which are great in short speed corners but maybe not that great in the straights, you can see that in Monaco they were able to put it P1 and P4. Whilst in other tracks they are usually 6th to 7th and Mercedes is 1st and 2nd. So what you saw this weekend was really an indicator that Mercedes is going to perform really well in all the purpose-built tracks, but that they may struggle compared to Red Bull and Ferrari when it comes to street circuits like Singapore and to a certain degree Baku. I say it to a certain degree because Baku has that long old back straight. So to sum things up, street circuits have no cambered corners, have no special grippy asphalt, and their corners are usually slow speed corners. So what this means is that the drivers can't put as much energy on the tires, and therefore it's way harder to heat up the tires. And this compares to the purpose-built tracks where the asphalt is very grippy, there are a lot of cambered corners, and there are a lot of high-speed corners and medium-speed corners where drivers can push and put it into their tires, and that's where Mercedes shines, and that's why I think that Red Bull will have an advantage on the street circuits. And look out for Ferrari, because they were very, very quick in Monaco, and I hope they are quick in Singapore and in Baku. So this has been it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you get to understand the tires a little bit better after this video and why Mercedes had such issues in Monaco. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.